So now we've wrapped up the GMR Grand Prix. It's time to now focus on the greatest spectacle in racing, and I wanted to mix it up, and do something different this year, and do a Fast Six draft. So each of us are going to draft 6 drivers. I've made out a list on our sheet. But that's not where we're. It's just kind of a point of reference. It doesn't. If they can be someone from not on the sheet either, if you want to go that route. But we're gonna draft 6 drivers of who we think are going to be in the Fast Six. It's Sunday, right, when they qualify for the Fast Six. So yeah. When those drivers go out there, to set up the first couple of rows for the Indy 500. So Saturday they cut off, right? It's fast, like 12, right? Isn't it 12? And
yeah,
6?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
it's they change it. Try to change it up every year. So,
So
I don't remember exactly what they said the format was this year, but
because I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if the same people that are gonna come for us in the YouTube comments as they sometimes do. I thought it was Fast 9. But I even checked.
No, it is Fast 6. It is Fast 6.
I was gonna say I double checked it. So I looked. I tried to figure it out before I did. I was like, I thought it was Fast 9 in the past.
At one point, I believe it was Fast 9.
Regardless, we're gonna pick 6 drivers.
We're gonna pick 6.
We're gonna pick 6 because we're not gonna sit here and draft 9 drivers. Because I don't think there's 18 drivers.
Because that would be almost half the field.
Right? Yeah, that'd be a little too much. So B Scott, why don't you kick us off, man? I'm giving you the right to who I think you should take at round 1 P1. Okay?
Oh yeah, this one's easy. The guy that's won 5 poles.
Yeah, I was gonna say
at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
I'm setting you up for success.
Gotta go with the Iceman, Scott Dixon, number 1 overall. I mean, yeah, he hasn't had the continued success during the race that he would like. But man, he knows how to find the speed for qualifying in that car. And it always seems like, everybody else like, oh yeah, from their previous qualifying run, they're down a little bit. Nope, not Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon is faster. Always. He knows how to get the right amount out of the car at the right time to make sure there's still more the car can give at the next run. It's unbelievable what he's able to do at that car. So got to go with the Iceman, number 1 overall.
Yeah, I like that. I like going Scott Dixon, number 1 overall. Honestly, like that was the guy I knew was gonna go round 1, pick 1. And then from there, I didn't really have a game plan beyond that. I'm gonna try to see if I can get away with this, and I'm gonna try not to give away anything that I'm gonna say later in our predictions. But I'm gonna see if I can, because heck, spoiler alert, I'm gonna pick Scott Dixon to be on the front row. Later in our predictions. So I'm gonna see if I can get my other 2 in the draft. So I'm gonna start off with Joseph Newgarden. He was the fastest at the open test in April. He qualified 14th for last year's Indy 500. He doesn't, like, for whatever reason, like, he's not had a ton of success qualifying like super high in the field, but I think that ends. Like I said, I think he's been fast the last 2 April tests. And I think this year is the year that it finally comes around. Obviously Penske, tons of success at the Indianapolis 500. I don't know that he wins the pole, but I think he's in the Fast Six. I think this year I have a hunch and a feeling about Newgarden that he's going to be in that Fast Six.
What's interesting with Penske is they seem to decide they're going to go one direction or the other. We're going to try to compete for the pole, or we're not going to worry about that. We're going to work on our race setup, and we're going to perform where it matters on race day. Now they haven't the past few years. They haven't had that. They've kind of struggled with that. So it'll be interesting to see how Penske can perform this year. So for me, my second pick, which would be the 3rd overall pick, I am going to go with Pato O'Ward. Pato has been consistently fast this year, last year. Had a chance to win the race last year. So I think he's gonna be in the Fast Six. So I'm going with Pato O'Ward.
I think this weekend was the first weekend he wasn't in the Fast Six. I mean, I think everywhere else he's been in the Fast Six, which has been pretty incredible for him. Um, I may have been able to. And he started seventh at last year's Indy 500 as well, so he's usually up there.
Mm.
I'm gonna go with someone I probably could go with in the later rounds. But I want to go ahead and get him off the board because I another guy that I have a hunch. Not a good strategy to go into a draft just drafting on hunches, but that's what we're doing here.
I mean,
That's the strategy.
it's so you got to sometimes.
It's a guy who started 10th for the 2022 Indy 500. He was 5th at the Open Test. He had a really fast month last May as well, and has won the Indy 500 twice, once in 2017 and in 2020, and that's Takuma Sato. I mean, because all the awesome things he's done, because usually put together great months at Indy, and they've all been with, he's been with, I think, Rahal at one point. He was with
And Andretti.
Andretti, AJ Foyt. None of it has been with the power he's going to have this year with Ganassi, filling in for Marcus Armstrong.
Scary.
So I think Takuma Sato is going to put together a great month for himself. I've got him on my list as well.
See that it's intriguing, but I feel like his aggressiveness is it causes him to struggle when it comes to qualifying. Like come race day, race Sunday, Takuma Sato is going to be up there contending for that win. Even if it's at the expense of a few other drivers. Like because the saying was always you got Satoed. I mean, even somebody who was it that got Satoed last year
in the qualifying, in like literal qualifying, because he wasn't on the
warm up
Takuma
plane. Sato,
yeah.
I had no idea I was supposed to be on the warm up plane. How many times have you qualified for this race? I mean, so
this is not your first
rodeo. There's always something. So I when I saw that on the list, I was like, okay, interesting. So my next one, I am going with a guy that has had success at Indy. He's got some good equipment under him this year. He's a fan favorite, and he's going to be racing in his last Indy 500, so he's going to give it everything he's got. Give me TK, Tony Kanaan, as my third pick. I'm going with the Arrow, and he's with the Arrow McLaren this year, so I'm really excited to see what he can do because Arrow McLaren has had success recently of having good cars for the 500, and then you bring in two past Indy 500 champions into that fold this year, and I think that can only help them immensely. So I'm taking TK this round.
Hey, my favorite driver. So I'm always happy to see him do well. I'll be excited to see if he can go out on a good note at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That would be really cool to see. Third pick. This is where it kind of gets tough. I think I've gone off of a couple of hunches. And I think I need to.
At this point, that's all you can do.
That's true. That is true. Because really the one like we said at the beginning, the one breakaway is Scott Dixon.
There is one driver sitting there that we've talked about a bunch tonight.
Yeah. You know what? You're right, and I need to kind of be a little bit more level-headed and fill it out a little bit more. He was the winner of the GMR Grand Prix. We've talked about him a lot. Finished second at the Indy 500 a couple of years ago. Started P2 for the Indy 500 last year. 8th in the test in April. Give me Alex Palou. I need to narrow things out a little bit. Took a couple of hunches with my first two picks, so I need to round my team out a little bit before we hit the back half of the draft. Give me Alex Palou. I think hey, we've seen him qualify well at Indy. We've seen him run well at Indy. I think one of the storylines to watch, something that we might be talking about here in a couple of weeks, is a sweep, like we've talked about before. So, Alex Palou, give me him with my third pick.
So, yeah, you're right. Now it gets into the fourth pick. It's like, oh, my gosh. So this one, I'm going back and forth because I could easily pick another Arrow McLaren car.
Just have the whole team on your team.
Oh, I don't want the whole team.
Yeah, I know.
That's the thing.
I know.
I don't think it's the whole team. But I feel like 3 of their 4 cars will get really good qualifying spots. You know what? Go ahead and give me my dark horse now because I want to make sure I get him. Give me Renus VK from Ed Carpenter Racing. I mean, look, he always seems to find his way to the front row. I know Ed Carpenter Racing has not had the success this year that they were kind of hoping, and it makes you question like what's going on. Why are they just not even close to being competitive? But there's something about the oval at IMS where Ed Carpenter Racing really shows up and shows out, especially in qualifying. They know how to get a lot out of those cars. And Rinus VK has been a consistent recently up front. I'm going to take Rinus VK at this point.
Like it, and he, of course, I know, like he had a strong showing last year. Was really fast, and then a disappointing end in the race. Crashing early. So I mean, he's gonna come with a lot of fire and brimstone, ready to bounce back.
I don't care how he performs in the race. I'm taking him for qualifying.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. He's primed to have. He wants to have a good month again this year, and hopefully it ends a little bit better. You talked about taking a lot of Arrow McLaren cars. I'm gonna go ahead and take one here as well, just because he's had a lot of success qualifying on the ovals. He's been there quite a bit. He's this year's Texas P1 award winner. Started 8th at the last year's Indy 500. He always seems to do well on the ovals. Give me Felix Rosenquist. He knows how to get it done on the ovals.
Okay.
He's qualified well. I want to say he's won the last 2 poles at Texas. So he's really good on the ovals when he's qualifying. He's done well at the race before. So give me Felix Rosenquist and with my 4th pick.
So my next pick, I'm going to take the last Arrow McLaren car. Give me Alexander Rossi. He loves this track. I think he's rounding back into shape, comfortable in the car now. Go ahead and give me the 100th running of the Indy 500 winner, Alexander Rossi.
I've got, it's one of those things where like, it's at the end of any draft, you have a couple of picks you're okay with, like that. If you miss out on one, you've got a good one for the other. I don't think you'll pick. Well, I mean, you only have one pick left. You can't take both of these guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with. Let's see, who do I want to go with? That's the bigger question. Give me. He's not on our list, but he was second on the at the open test. And I'm gonna try to double up on drivers that you like. So let's see. I'm gonna go with Connor Daly.
Good choice.
Well, I think he runs well.
Yeah.
You talk about the success that Ed Carpenter has, qualifying and at this track in general. He ran well in the open test, and he usually has really great showings at the Indy 500. So give me Connor Daly.
Yeah, I mean, I was going back and forth between him and who I'm actually going to take now. Give me Scott McLaughlin of Penske. I don't know, the way he has shown he can run at Texas, there's just something there. Getting that bright yellow number 3 Pennzoil machine back in contention at IMS. This is my hunch. I'm going off of a hunch, a gut feel. So can't really explain it, but I'm picking Scott McLaughlin right now to round out my 6.
I'm glad you mentioned him, because in our preview podcast there were some comments that were like, "Hey, why don't you guys talk more about McLaughlin? He's doing really well." And look, he put together a good year last year. He's doing well again this year. So who knows? He might.
I just don't think he's somebody you truly automatically go to.
Yeah.
In your mind when you're looking at the drivers that are contending consistently, and we need to be looking at him because he is very talented. He's figured out an IndyCar rather quickly. I mean, he's a champion race car driver, and I think he's gonna break out here eventually on an oval. He's come close at Texas, like excruciatingly, painfully close. I just think it's a matter of time before he finally gets it. I mean, it took Will Power a while, but I don't think it's going to take Scott McLaughlin that long to get that first oval, get that first 500 win. But yeah, he needs to be somebody that you begin looking at on a weekly basis. I just think it's because he is so new. And there's been so many dominant drivers that we just kind of overlook them, and that needs to change.
For sure. I agree 100%. Rounding out my draft. Your draft is done. I'm going to round out my draft, and I've gone back and forth. Like I said with my last pick, I went, it's one of those things where, if all my fantasy baseball, fantasy football, compadres out there, and I mean, I know you've experienced doing this in fantasy as well, where like you want to pick between two guys and you can't decide, so you pick someone else and just hope someone decides for you if you're gonna get one of those two guys. And so I thought after I picked Connor Daly and kind of hinted that I might take, I might get two of your favorite drivers. I thought you were going here next. You didn't. So here's where I'm going to go. Four-time Indy 500 winner, four-time P1 award winner at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Give me Helio Castroneves. It's something where like it doesn't really matter how good or bad he's been in the qualifying or otherwise through the course of the season. There's just something about when he gets to Indy, straps that helmet on, where he just does just insane things and has just a magical month. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Like I said, I know that, we talked about it, several times where, Meyershank Racing hasn't always, they've had a couple of, they haven't had the greatest of luck since, it's been Pagenaud and Castroneves, which is a little unfortunate, but, Indy is where they can shine. And I think that Helio can get in there as well. I debated Marco too, because Marco Andretti sometimes can put together some good qualifying runs. He was the 2020 pole winner. But yeah, give me Helio Castroneves to round out my team. So
I like that one, yeah.
So you're six for the draft. Scott Dixon, Pato O'Ward, Tony Kanaan, Renus VK, Alexander Rossi, and Scott McLaughlin. I've got Joseph Newgarden, Takuma Sato, Alex Palou, Felix Rosenquist, Connor Daly, and Helio Castroneves. So we'll see. Who of those 12 end up shining bright on Sunday, and who ends up having good qualifying weekends.